Assalamualaikum and a very good day to our beloved lecturer, Madam Siti Azrina Adnan and everyone. So, our group will be presenting on the topic Activity-Based Management for Seminar in Management Accounting. Before we start, let's recite the dua.
Allahumma aftah alaina hikmataka waishur alaina min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.
Okay, first of all, let me introduce you our group member. The first one from the left is Nurul Nazira Shafinas binti Zulkifli. The second one is Nur Zakia binti Abdul Rahman. And the last one is me, myself, Nurul Huda binti Adam. Basically, this is our content of presentation and consists of 8 sections regarding activity-based management, which we will explain further in the next slide. Introduction to Activity-Based Management. Modern management accounting system including various tools and techniques that provide information for cost management in an organization. So, what is cost management? Okay, cost management is the improvement of an organization cost effectiveness through understanding and managing the real causes of cost. ABM is an evolve from ABC, or we can call it ABM is an improvement from ABC, where the application of ABC advanced from a manufacturing product costing orientation to a management philosophy of activity management applied in industry and organization other than the manufacturing. Although the predominant focus on cost, ABM and VC also focus on improving other aspects of performance such as quality and delivery that may drive to a customer value. So, ABM can be applied in different types of company including manufacturer, service provider, non-profit, school and government agency. So, ABM can provide more cost information about any area of operation in a business.
Okay guys, let's move to the second content for this presentation, which is regarding the history. Okay, during the 1980s, most of the business will introduce activity-based costing system. So, this system actually will help their manager to get better understanding regarding the products and also the customer net profitability. Okay, if the business are using this ABC system, which means they can get accurate calculation for their particular product costs. Okay, next for activity-based management is actually is the stages for the management in order to improve their activity and also their value that will deliver to their customer and also will get the profit from that. Okay, so the main purpose for activity-based management is to obtain the same level of output but with the lower cost. Okay, for the next content, we will discuss regarding the definition of the activity-based costing, definition of activity-based management, and also see the differences between them. Okay, first, what is ABC? ABC is a system that we can use to measure the cost and the performance of activity, resources, and cost object. Okay, so basically ABC will recognize the causal relationship between the cost driver to the activity. While activity-based management is a system in order to determine the profitability in every aspect of business, so that its strength can be enhanced and the weaknesses can either to be improved or can be eliminated altogether. Okay, we move to the types of activity-based management. Okay, there is 2 types of activity-based management, which is the first one is the operational and the second one is the strategic. For the operational activity-based management is when the management is doing things right which means the management are using the input from the activity-based costing, and then they will analyze and improve the input to be more effective and efficient, which means from this step they will recognize and identify which activity that bring the add value and which activity don't have added value. Okay, so for the add value product activities, basically the management will improve it or just maintain it in the for the production. While the non-added value product activities, the management usually can reduce it by cut the costs without eliminate or cut their values. Okay, next we move to the strategic activity-based management. So basically, management will doing the right things. How? Which they will use the information from the activity-based costing in order to decide or identify which product to be produced and to identify what activity should be applied, okay, for this production. So other than that, for strategy ABM, the management also will identify which customer give most profitable to them, and they tend to be more focused on them. Okay, we take a look for the example. Okay, this one is the example for operational activity-based management. So you can see there is two tables, which is the left side for the traditional cost and the right side is for operational activity-based management. So from the traditional cost, they basically are estimate the expenses in general, which means they just stated the cost of sale, how much, the salary, their maintenance, the rentals, and they get the total cost. So different with the operational activity based management, in this method basically the cost of output are analyzed by their activity. As we can see, okay, the direct material cost is that one, the direct labor cost is that one, the setup machine activity cost, so that one. So it's more specific by activity, so it's easily to identify which activity bring the add value and which activity are non add value activities. Okay, actually by using this operational activity based management, which is they analyze cost by their activities, is provide more relevant information to the manager. Okay, so some activity include the non-added value activity, right? So that kind of activity they can just perform or can be stopped. Okay. Next, in this method, the management may also identify which activity bring the high cost more than the expectation or estimate value of that cost. So the management will decide that cost or activity should be maintained or enhance, improve, or we can eliminate that activity. Okay, as we can see in this table, the setup machine activity incurred high cost, right, which is 100K per production. Then maybe this activity we cannot eliminate because even though they are non-value added activities for the customer, but if we eliminate this activity so that the production for this product cannot be performed. Okay, so then the management will improve the non value-added activities, which is by maybe the management can longer the production period so that the cost to set up the machine will be reduced. Okay, basically there is two application for strategic activity-based management. For the first application, the management may decide which product to be produced and what kind of type activity should be applied. And the second application, the management will analyze the customer profitability. So for the first application, okay, since the organization already predict the profit for each unit of product, so they can rank their product according to their total profit. So from this method, they will know which product will bring more profit and which product can making loss. So for the loss-making product, basically the management have two choice, whether just proceed with the production or maybe they can stop produce that kind of product. So if they still want to produce the loss-making product, maybe they will produce in low volume or maybe they will incur high level of customization. While if the company choose to stop making the loss product, so there is two possible dangers for this decision. The first one, maybe the demand for the remaining product might fall because most of the customer will prefer to buy all their requirement from one supplier. So the other danger, which is if the business stop produce the loss making product, the cost of the production would be incur more. Okay, so for the second application for strategic activity-based management is analyze the customer profitability. Okay, so this one the management can analyze the profit or loss generated by each customer so that they will know which customer bring more profit to their organization. Then they will focus more on them. Okay, for the differences between activity-based costing and activity-based management. Okay, ABC system is a method to measure the cost and the performance of the activity, cost, object, and resources. So from this system, they will help to improve the cost management by summarizing the expenses to be incurred and summarize the activity to be applied or to be incurred, so that the management will gain more understanding regarding their business process and cost behavior during this analysis process. Okay, for the activity-based management, this method is basically focused on the management activity, which means they are improving the value obtained by the customer and they will improving the profit got by giving this value to the customer. So other than that, they will help to determine the contribution of each person. Then they also can consider as a basis for business process redesign. So for this system, management will apply the information get from the ABC system and improve the input for the decision making.
Okay, let's proceed to the implementation phases of ABM. So the phases consist of 7 phases, which is the first one is planning, second is analyze activities, third is costing activities, products and services, fourth is document the result, fifth is gather and analyze data, sixth is develop ongoing data collection and report system, and the last phase is achieve full integration. The first phase of implementation of ABM is the planning. In the planning phase, the management should focus on identifying the purpose, objective, and expectation of each specific element of the ABM total implementation. The development of a detailed project plan is a critical element of the planning phase. So the project plan should have a timeline with assigned responsibilities, tasks, completion, clear definition of the resources required to complete each stage of the implementation, the selection of specific individual to complete the work, and a precise delineation of a data collection method to be employed. So in order to be a comprehensive ABM and in order to be success in implement ABM system in the organization, the management should set all the setting with the right time, right person, and also the right direction. Okay, the scope of the project. Management expectations regarding the output of the project and issues surrounding team development are also important of developing a comprehensive ABM implementation plan. Even though implementation play a small part of a total time and effort, but it has a major impact on its overall success. The second major part of an ABM implementation is the second phase, which is analyzing activities. So, during this phase, it comprises several key steps including cataloging of specific activities and business processes, definition of outputs and outputs measures, value-added analysis, identification of cost drivers, and also the detailed specification of activity performance. In order to get all of the details and all of the suggested lists, the management normally consume the major part, which is 50 to 55% of the total time and resources allocated to implementation. Because during this phase, the management should do more research in order to analyzing the activities. We move to the third phase, which is costing activities, product, and services. Activity analysis provide basic information for constructing the ABC cost system. Developing the ABC estimates is the most mechanical part of any ABM implementation, which is during this phase, the management should focus on identifying and documenting cost tracing methodologies and core assumption. The costing phase ties the financial reporting system to the newly developed activity and process structures of the ABM system. The development of choice of a specific software system to export, import, and accept the data used to generate the activity-based estimate and to apply this estimate to create product and service costs make up the bulk of the work completed during this stage. Since the software systems selected or developed as part of this step are often used for an ongoing report, it is important that the management be relatively simple to update and maintain. The fourth phase is documenting result. During this phase, documentation is an important part of an ABC or ABM implementation. So the management should record all the work completed, significant results, recommendation, and conclusion should all be included in the document record of the project. And the management also should focus on supporting downstream action and also the decision regarding next step. Documentation serves as a crucial bridge between planning and operation and ABM system. The time spent recording past result and detail require future action serve to reinforce the learning process, communicate and assess progress, and also adjust the detailed implementation to accommodate unforeseen problems and concerns. So, when a building block implementation approach is used in an organization, so it is even more important to record the sequences, results, and also the issues surrounding the activity analysis and development of ABC estimates. The next phase is gathering and analyzing data. During the planning stages of the implementation, emphasis is placed on gathering information and data to document the purpose, expectation, and objective of the initiative. The management should pay more attention to activity analysis and the creation of the ABC estimating system. Data gathering takes on more importance as the key to understanding the existing knowledge base in the organization. Therefore, to complete the activity or product costing step, information about the consumption of resources by activities need to be collected and analyzed. The recommendation, conclusion, and identification of the next step that take place during documentation require a significant amount of data and information. Okay, for example, data gathering is an integral part of every phase of the implementation. The payoff to ensuring that the company can achieve total integration of the ABM system can be achieved if the management is maximizing the relevance of the information it creates, because it is consumed between 25 to 50% of the total effort needed to complete the implementation. Creating efficient and effective data gathering method is an essential part of the ABM initiative. The sixth phase of ABM implementation is developing an ongoing data collection and reporting system. During this phase, the development of a cost-effective, efficient data collection and reporting system is the final aspect of a holistic ABM implementation. The information gathered during implementation provides a static snapshot of the activities and their resources usage at one particular point in time. While much is learned from the snapshot, ongoing data collection is necessary to reap the total benefit of the ABC or ABM initiative. To be useful for strategic and operational decision-making activities, information must be collected and reported on a continuous basis. Okay, there are two major stages in implementing the ongoing ABM information and reporting system, which is the first stage is establishing the basis data collection and analysis procedure, and the second stage is ongoing system maintenance. Okay, during the first stage, it is often necessary to create new methods for collecting data and also new driver-based measure to support the system use. A hands-off effort, stage 1 require the active support of the information system group as well as the collaboration of managers across the organization as new measures, data formats, and due dates for various measures and reports are developed. Okay, and for the second stage is the maintenance requirement of the system are addressed. Activities, measures, products, and the service are also consistently added and deleted within an organization because the system must be adjusted for each major change. One of the best way to ensure this is to implement an ABM updating processes as a core part of the firm projects management protocols. Okay, the last phase of ABM implementation is achieving full integration. So during this phase, integrating ABM with existing management practices is necessary to achieve its full benefits. So the real value of ABM comes from the knowledge and information it provides to support improvement effort and management decision process. Full integration of ABM within the fabric of the organization, other information, and management system is complete when people in the organization embrace activity management, take ownership, and internalize it as a better way of doing business and making decisions. Therefore, full integration does not occur in one day. Full integrating ABM with current and existing organizational philosophies, cultures, preferences, and value can take years to complete. Ongoing efforts are required to drive activity-based thinking deep into the organization. Attention must be paid to linking ABM with the basic information system used to manage the organization and its going operations. Therefore, achieving full integration should be the overall goals and the final measure of success of any ABM initiative. Therefore, this will conclude all the implementation phases of ABM in the organization.
We continue with the uses of ABM. Basically, there are three uses of ABM that can be used to improve in particular business processes relating to efficiency and better customer satisfaction. ABM can support these methodologies in several ways. First is identifying processes that need improvement and establishing priorities. ABM enables management to identify which activities or processes that it is spending the most on, and where the biggest financial saving can be made. It can also identify activities where management believe big improvement can be made. Typically, these are the processes that are highly fragmented and involve people from many different departments. IBM models also provide information about costs incurred on the various activities, so it is easier to monitor how much the cost of an activity have been cut by a particular project. Second is providing cost justification for proceeding with the project. Many business improvement projects may require considerable capital expenditure, and it will be necessary, therefore, to do a cost-benefit analysis to establish whether it is worthwhile going ahead or not. IBM can provide more accurate information about the potential saving from a particular project, therefore leading to a more accurate assessment. Lastly is monitoring the benefit of the project. This last step is more important because it is to measure the benefit achieved by the project and as well as the advantage from the users of IBM. The advantages and disadvantages of IBM. So, for the advantages of IBM, there are three. First, increasing profitability in the long run due to the more accurate product cost, which provided a reliable basis for a strategic decision making. Next, can improve customer satisfaction since IBM enable the company to monitor and improve quality and key sources of customer value. And lastly, eliminate the non-value added activities, improve processes, reduce costs, and add value for customer. As for disadvantages, the first one is IBM was expensive to implement because it is more complex than the traditional management accounting system and more expensive to maintain. Some activities have an implicit value which is not necessarily reflected in a financial value added to any product. And lastly, a particular pleasant workplace can help attract and retain the best staff, but may not be identified as adding value in operational IBM.
Okay, for content number 6, we will discuss regarding the relationship between activity-based costing and activity-based management. So, as you guys can see, this is the diagram for activity-based management model. So, in this model consists of two parts, which is the part 1 and the part 2. If you guys remember, the part 1 is the activity-based costing model, which is consists of two dimensions, cost view and also process view. Okay, regarding this view, I will discuss later. And then for the part 2 is the continuous improvement process, which is implementation of activity based management. Okay, which is the management will analyze back the activity, cost driver and also performance and improve them to get a better decision.
Okay, now I will share roughly about the two dimension of activity-based costing model. Okay, in this ABC model, they contain cost view and process view. For the cost view, after we know the particular output, so we can decide the specific activity should be involved, and then from that activity, we can measure the cost to be incurred. So basically, in this cost view, they will provide information about the activities and the cost object. So basically, the information will be obtained that will ensure that the product cost is accurate, and then the information regarding the activity and the cost object also accurate. Then we move to the process view. So in this process view, basically the information provided regarding the work done in the activity, and then they show the relationship of this work to other activity. So the information are included about the cost driver and also the performance measure for each activity process.
So the cost driver and performance measure are essentially is non-financial, which are the information are regarding the outside factor that determine how frequently the activity can be performed. So basically, there is a relationship between activity-based costing and activity-based management. As you remember the diagram for activity-based management model just now I show you, that is related, right? Which is in order to implement activity-based management, we need the input from activity-based costing. In other way, activity-based costing is the initial stages to implement this ABM system. So that one is related, which means activity-based management is the application of input from activity-based costing to manage the profile portfolio and also to have a better business processes. So the example of application, they can improve the value of the organization, product and services, and they can employ efficient and effective distribution and service processes to target market, and then they can design the product and services that meet the customer expectation and can be produced to them and get profit as a return.
I will continue with the step of using ABM to reduce costs. This step consists of 4 steps. First is identify the major opportunities for cost reduction. In order to identify opportunities to reduce costs, the organizations need to undertake a value analysis where the organization classify activities as value-added analysis or non-value-added analysis. As for value-added analysis, it is an activity that provide essential value to the customer or to the functioning of the business. For example, production activity that contribute to the final product, and essential administrative such as managing the business and preparing financial statements. Meanwhile, for non-value added analysis, it is an activity that does not add value to a product from the customer's perspective or for the business, and it should be eliminated. In many businesses, the major sources of non-value added is waiting, inspection, rework, and unnecessary movement, and as well as storage of inventories. Next step is determine the real causes of this cost. In order to eliminate the non-value added costs, first the organization need to begin building activities into process, then analyze those process to find the causes of the non-value added activities. Process is a series of activities that are linked together to achieve a specific objective. Once the process have been identified, cost driver analysis can be recognized. The cost driver analysis is a method that identifies root cause cost drivers of activities, where it is the factors that cause activities to be performed and their cost to be incurred. The third step is to develop a program to eliminate the main causes of the major non-value added activities. This was a complex task and involved managers from across the organization. Eliminating root cause cost drivers may involve tackling individual activities. On the other hand, it may require a fundamental restructure of processes, and it is called as business process reengineering. For example, activity move material, and the possible main cost driver is the supplier delivery arrangement. And for the last step is to introduce some new performance measure to monitor. Activity-based performance measure can be used to monitor the effectiveness of cost reduction efforts as well as other key sources of customer value. By monitoring the measures over time, managers could obtain feedback on their performance. Therefore, targets could be set and corrective action could be instigated. The obstacle in implementing ABM. Understanding the step in effectively implementing ABM is important, but as anyone who has actually undertaken a project of this magnitude knows, many pitfalls and problems may occur during the life of the project and beyond. Therefore, these are the obstacles the organization has to face during the implementation effort. First is failure to gain complete agreement on implementation objective. This occurs when the ABM team fail to deliver a solid understanding of what ABM can and will do for the organization and its stakeholders. Integrating ABM with existing management practices is necessary to achieve its full benefit. If ABM is treated as a separate freestanding management initiative, therefore it will not survive. Second is lack of senior management commitment. Full integration of ABM cannot achieve within the organization and management system if when people in the organization does not embrace activity management, take ownership and internalize it as a better way of doing business. Third is lack of understanding the financial, operational and strategic information the organization expects. If the organization wrongly select a team leader to lead the ABM project who understand the business and works well with people, therefore it may be a problem for the organization to implement the ABM in a long run because fully integration of ABM does not occur overnight. Lastly is the planning team is an inability to articulate why it is doing the project and failure to create a dedicated project team. The basic information of ABM must be linked to manage the organization and its ongoing operation. If the implementation team fail to reach agreement on the answer to this question, which is why it is doing the project, therefore the linkage between ABM and the strategic operational objective of the organization cannot be clearly defined, and as well as to create a dedicated project team. These are recommendations for the solution for organization to deal with the obstacle that I have mentioned on the previous slide. The first one is link the initiative to key business objective and clearly articulate how the ABM project will deliver improvement in that area. Second, expose senior management to potential benefits of ABM through visit to other successful companies and via benchmarking reports. The third one is companies should select a team leader to lead the ABM project who understand the business and works well with people from many functional areas within the company and train employees on how ABM will be used. And the last one is the company and management should understand fully the ongoing commitment cost of ABM before adopting it. As for the application of ABM, TransEuro is an oil exploration and production company. This organization was faced profit problems and a need for development funds which required severe budget cuts. So, the organization established and adopt ABM process in order to identify which area to perform budget cuts. There are 5 steps to identify the cost of performing each of the department's diverse sub-processes and activities for TransEuro. First is resources consumed by the business management department were identified. Second, each activity was charged for its use of resources. Third is resources drivers. For each resource shared amount activities were identified. Fourth, resource drivers were used to assign the resource cost to activities. And the last one is an activity cost budget for the business management department based on the information generated by the ABM process were developed. As for the conclusion, TransEuro Corporation adopt operational ABM since the organization doing things right by using the information to cut the budget costs.